All right. Hey.
Hi.
We're back for our Chardcast episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
Bet you didn't think we'd get a second episode of this.
But I volunteered.
Eloise did volunteer. We have a girl this time. We might have a girl next time.
You never know.
We don't really care what gender or circle we have on this podcast.
Different perspectives.
Different perspectives. So today, for Chardcast episode 2, we are going to talk about how to build a satisfying dating life as a single person. And we're going to talk about dating life in 3 stages. So talking to people and scheduling dates, what to do when you're on a date, and then the talking phase, which I think I'll be good at because I perpetually live in the talking phase.
Yeah, me freaking too.
Yeah, no, Eloise and I have mastered the talking phase at this point. But yeah, we just want to once again, like last time, preface this podcast by saying that what works for me and Eloise might not work for you guys. So yeah, but this is all for discussion. I hope you guys, can kind of form some opinions and maybe even take some of this stuff and employ it in your real world. But as Chard, I'm just trying to make you all be your best selves. So yeah, we're going to start with some questions. And we're going to chat. So we actually got a lot of questions this week from my followers, so I appreciate you guys. I didn't have to make up a bunch of questions. So the first question is, do we have any general tips for someone who's new to the dating game? Do you even have to declare that you are joining the dating game?
I feel like you definitely don't have to declare it unless you've been in a relationship and are newly single, just so people aren't confused as to whether or not you're cheating on your past significant other. It's good to let people know that you're single when you become single. Entering, I think obviously it's an individual journey. When you know you're ready to start seeing people, that's when you should. You shouldn't just launch yourself into it without being prepared as an individual. You gotta know yourself first before you start to get to know other people. Which is a whole separate thing.
Yeah, those are things you can totally do. All right, this next question is, oh wow, how do I get people to like me romantically and find me attractive?
I mean, you can't force people to find you attractive and like you romantically, because that's just kind of against the whole thing. When it's the right person, it'll kind of just happen naturally. And I think that the best relationships come naturally.
But do you think there's say someone doesn't want a relationship, they just want to date casually? You think there are general things they can do to
totally
up their attractiveness?
I think that people love talking about themselves, so asking questions about other people is super important.
Yeah.
As humans, we're very self-centered. So being a good listener is super attractive. So just in general, asking somebody questions about them, trying to actively getting to know them better, and actively listening is super important. If you're able to drop details about what that person has said in the past at another point in time to just further prove that you are actually listening, people love that. I love that. I love knowing that people are listening to me. Remembering the little things too. If you're in a relationship, even if you're not in a relationship, remembering somebody's favorite color, somebody's favorite flowers, whatever, because that's helpful information that can be put to use at other points in time.
Yeah, for sure. And I would say at least for me, it's just and it sounds stupid, but hygiene, boys, girls,
that's
everyone
true.
Out there. I'm not saying you have to go the whole 9 yards, but shower, attempt to take care of your face, even though acne's a bitch from time to time.
And you're still beautiful with it.
You're still beautiful with it. Yeah, that is true. But not necessarily for others, but just so you can feel that confidence, because you want to be able to project confidence, you want to project that you love yourself. So if you have to do I say you do little things like that, so when you do look in the mirror, you can be I like what I see, this is awesome, I mess with this.
And there's the whole part of getting into the dating culture of fully not even fully, but loving yourself beforehand, because you're a lot more likable when you like yourself.
Yes, I agree.
That confidence exudes, and when you're confident, people are oh, I should like this person. Why should I know I should like them. They're confident for a reason. They can't just be confident. So confidence is also very sexy. It's something that at least attracts me, and I know a lot of other people as well.
Yeah, and confidence attracts me too. And confidence has to 100% come from within, because here's the thing, when it comes to dating, you are going to get rejected at some point in your life, and
it's life.
You it's destined to fail in terms of you'll come with disappointment. The amount of dates you go out on, or how fun and awesome your dating life is, should your confidence should not be contingent on that.
Totally.
If you're dating to fill some sort of void within yourself, that's where you gotta start
you probably shouldn't be dating.
Yeah, because honestly, and it's really shit, but damage finds damage. You're only gonna find yourself
100%.
with people who don't love themselves
100%.
if you don't love yourself first. So that's probably my best advice. Is just in order to, I guess, quote unquote, become more attractive, it's just like, it sounds weird, but like there's a vibe, and we all have been around that person who feels like they're just like fronting, trying to cover something up. So I would say like love yourself first, and that's probably the best thing you can do.
Exude the energy that you want to attract.
Yeah, because like we could talk about like all like the getting in shape, dress well, but those really are just surface level things.
Superficial things. And if somebody likes you just for that, you probably should check out some other people.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, like, look, we understand that like there's like hookup culture, and maybe you are just looking for something physical, but we'll talk about that.
Which is fine.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. All right. Should I take different approaches to my love life based on whether I'm at school or at home? How different is dating between high school and college?
Very.
Now, you want to elaborate on that?
Well, okay, the first part, home versus school. We were actually just talking about like life in general, home versus school, and how it can be very difficult to adapt to being in a college environment where like there isn't your parents, there aren't, sorry, bad grammar, your parents. You're more in charge of yourself, your daily schedule, all that jazz, and then coming home and all of a sudden being under your parents' roof again and having all these rules is super difficult. And the same thing applies in like your dating life.
Yeah, for sure.
Like bringing somebody back to your room at college is a lot more chill than like bringing somebody back home where your family is.
Oh my god.
Like those are two very different things.
Oh, for sure, totally. Yeah, you got no siblings at school.
Yeah. Or parents, or dogs.
Or
cats, or animals.
Dogs and cats, man.
I don't know, because I feel like when you bring somebody into an area where your family's involved, it can become a lot more serious and personal quickly.
Oh yeah, because they could assume that like there's an expectation now that they've met the parents.
Yes, but in reality, you're kind of just home.
The second part of the question is how different is dating between high school and college?
Oh, well, at least from my experience comparing Choate to like Tulane, like the hookup culture at Choate was kind of weird. Like kind of weird. It was really weird, is what it was.
It's really ambiguous.
Like, yes, it's like either you were in a 5-year very serious relationship or like you'd hook up with somebody randomly.
Yeah, and I think what's really cool is, and this is something that Eloise and I both kind of have, is we both have like avid home lives on top of like our Choate lives as well. Like we both like, we would go home and be like, oh, time to start hanging out in my home circle, time to start dating in my home circle, versus school when we could do that as well. And I would say like, at least for me, comparing high school to college is, I mean, Choate's a little different because, you live at Choate, and Choate has some, like, similarities.
To college, yeah.
But I'd say, like, when you're at home or in high school, because, say, like, you go to public school where you drive to school every day and then come home to your parents, because I think it's, like, parents, like, family are, like, the big determining factor. There are a lot of things, because college, like, you're on campus, you kind of just go chill. I feel like it's a lot more casual, or, like, if you're, like, dating someone from your town, you have to kind of declare that, like, not that you're on a date, but, like, you're a person and another person who might be interested in each other, or a guy and a girl, guy and a guy, girl and a girl, going out for coffee. Like, it's very, like, I preach that, like, I can go around and, like, not have expectations when, like, I ask a girl out, but just because I do that, I say that I do that, doesn't mean everyone will believe me. But I mean, I know in my heart of hearts that, like, that's what I want. So
that's what matters.
But, like, if you ask someone, like, hey, you want to go get coffee? We are two people who could potentially be sexually compatible. Like, they're gonna think a little bit that it might be a date.
Yeah.
And I'd say, like, that's, like, the biggest difference between high school, like, at least, like, dating in your town versus, like, dating at college. Because college, say you and I go to college together, they'd be like, hey, let's go grab a coffee, and we can kind of grow organically there. Or I feel like when you're in high school, it's, like, a big deal because you're gonna go, like, pick her up in the car.
Yeah,
going out to
totally. You could even just, like, meet up in the dining hall at school.
Yeah.
Like, in college, and it's, like, a lot less intense.
You could... oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was gonna... Yeah, because, like, in college, like, you could schmooze someone you're into over the course of, like, a week. Just, like, flirt with them, like, 6 times casually while you see them at coffee, see them on the path, like... But when you're in high school, like, you aren't doing, like, the, like, flirtatious wave, flirtatious wink, or, like, the, hey, you look cute today.
Yeah, and you're also not as crossed over in each other's lives. Like, it's not like you're going over to that person's house, like, at 10:30 to just say hi, but, like, you can go over to somebody's dorm room super easily without even, like, thinking too much about it. Yeah,
I mean, also some personal anecdotes in there. The first girl that I was, like, talking to in college was literally because we lived on the same floor and we'd bump into each other in the bathroom all the time. But, like, in high school, say I'm at Eloise, we weren't bumping into each other in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because, well, that'd be weird if Eloise was camping out in my bathroom.
It'd be a little bit weird.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think...
Just a little bit.
I think this across the hall.
But it's less weird because it's like, we live in the same building, like, she's just going to the bathroom.
She's like, oh, Chard, you're in a towel too? That's cool.
We're both naked under the towel, that's crazy.
No, but yeah, exactly. And so in college, like, stuff like that just happens
more naturally.
Yeah, where at home it doesn't. So I'd say, like, that's like the biggest difference. It's a lot easier to keep things casual in college. So I think relationships, at least in my knowledge, occur more in high school than in college. Because like you hear about high school sweethearts, but do you ever hear about college sweethearts?
My parents.
Your parents are college sweethearts. That's.
What I was gonna say is the fun part about dating in college is that like you can also there can be another level of maturity to it. Like well, there can also be a level of immaturity, like going out and partying with that person that you've been interested in, like that huge party culture at college. Like somebody could be like grinding on you dancing, and the next thing you know, like maybe you guys are getting dinner a week later. Like it can be very like two-sided, where it can be that kind of hookup culture type beat that high school has in the immaturity sense. But then you could also go out to like a formal dinner, or you can hang out in your dorm room. Like it's just there's a lot more variety for it, and I think that that's what allows it. Or what causes a lot of people to stay in the talking stage for a while. Okay. But we can get to that later.
I'm glad you brought up partying, because this is like a really, good segue. Well, this is a big segue into what I was going to ask next. And for some people who like aren't into the notion of polyamory, I'm sorry if this question is annoying, but I'm going to bring it up anyways. So we know about the concept of like a rotation, talking to multiple people. Some of us do want to do it. So the next question I got is, how do I add people to my rotation, say when I'm at a party or a social event, or just, living throughout my college and high school life? Like, how can I find myself going on dates, talking to multiple people?
My only big thing would be that you just have to make sure that everyone who you're talking to is, like, on the same page.
Communication is important.
Yeah, like, if some person thinks that you're more than something, and then all of a sudden finds out that you've been talking to 4 other guys or girls or anything in between, like that can end up hurting other people. And at least for me, a big thing is like trying to not cause as much damage as you can. You're making your way through life. You don't need to be communication.
Yes.
That's probably what I would say is most important.
I would say communication, and like stay true to your morals and be a good person. Because I mean, here's the thing, like say like I'm talking to like 3 girls, but like I'm talking to one of them right now, and I'm feeling like it's getting like a little more than casual. I don't need to, in that moment, think like, oh, I'm talking to 2 other girls, I can't let this go further. It's important that after you have that to go home and be like, okay, if I want to go forward with this person,
I gotta think the other 2 through.
I gotta think the other 2 through. And it sucks, but like there's, you don't want to cause as much damage, but if you are getting more involved with one person in your rotation than others, you gotta cut the other ones off, at least in my opinion.
Out of respect.
Yeah, like it's respectful to them. You're not gonna waste their time, because you wouldn't want to be like talking to someone who who's gonna like cut you off because they found someone else. Like, it's not disrespectful, no hard feelings. You're just going for what you want. But as far as like using like parties or social events, or even just like your day-to-day stuff as a way of like going out on casual dates, like adding people to your rotation, I talked about this in episode 1, and I talk about this in general. It's that no expectations, like friendship was like ask people to hang out, not like you want to go out. Not like you want to go on a date, you want to hook up or whatever. Basically, it's like,
getting to know each other's people.
Say you're Chard and you're like, I'm at a new school, I want to start going out with some girls. Ask like 7 girls to go grab coffee. There's no harm in doing that, and go there with the expectation that you're just gonna be friends, nothing more. And say out of the 7, you feel some sort of connection with like 3 of them. If you go in with the expectation that you're just gonna be friends anyways, the other 4 who you weren't feeling it with, then you just made 4 new friends.
And it's awesome.
Yeah, those are 4 friends who can start inviting you to other stuff, where you can meet more people, start introducing you to their friends.
Networking.
Networking is true, but like I would just say like never go out with someone with the intention of like hooking up, because like I don't know. I get like sometimes we're desperate. You'll realize that if you weren't desperate, maybe you didn't even like this person that much anyways.
True.
Go back to the question. If you want to build a rotation, just ask people to hang out and then go from there. Be a cool, casual, fun person. Sit down, grab a coffee. Hold something in your hand and have an actual coherent English conversation with them, and then go from there.
Like we were saying earlier, let that connection build itself naturally. Because it'll stand out by itself. So like in a party setting, just go talk to people who you haven't met before. Or if you think that somebody's cute and like that your friend's friends with them, be like, hey, introduce us. There's nothing wrong with finding people attractive and seeking them out because of that, but don't have the expectation that like something is going to happen, because that's also how you get hurt.
And as far as like people like talk about how you shouldn't force things, you shouldn't feel like it's bad to like just walk up to someone. Like those are things you have to force. Like once you're on the date, like once you're talking to the person, don't force anything. But as far as like force yourself to initiate. Like even if like I walked up to a girl once and she just said no. Like, when I said, like, hey, I'm Chard, before I could say anything else, she's like, nope, sorry.
Well,
and I was like,
rude.
I mean, no, but it is. I mean, I'd rather have that than, like, I mean, that's a bad, I'm going to keep that in there.
I mean, that's still rude.
Yeah, but, so I'm actually.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't you do that.
No, I mean, yeah, be polite about your rejections.
Yeah.
You know, I posted on my story, like, hey, girls, ask me, like, answer this question for me. Do you like the cold approach, and how should guys plan dates? And I'll give the results. Yeah, so I got about 30 responses to it, and 29 of the 30, or maybe it wasn't 29 of 30, but all but one said, yeah, girls like being approached. Not in a weird, creepy way, but in a casual, like, hey, I'm Chard, you know, I think you're cute. Can I, you know, get your number? You want to go out sometime? Because, like, I don't know, people will say, like, you should start up a conversation. You can maybe, if you don't want to, like, be dark and be like, hey, I'm Chard, I think you're cute, you could be like, oh, are you also buying 0% fat Greek yogurt? I use the 0% fat Greek yogurt as, like, every example. But, yeah. Like that. Or even just, like, compliment their shoes or whatever. Do the whole, yeah, like, the whole, like.
People love talking about themselves. It's a great way to start a conversation.
But, yeah, seriously, like, go meet, like, literally, like, don't be afraid to shoot your shot. Because I think a lot of, I mean, I don't want to say a lot of girls, but I feel like nowadays it's, like, the guy who has to, like, go up to the girl in public. It's very rare, like, a girl will walk
I've
right
actually recently done it, and it's terrifying.
It is it's scary, man. I mean, I've already crushed my approach anxiety, but because I've been rejected so many damn times.
I mean, that's how you gotta do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Like, exposure therapy is real. No, it's real. Like, if you you'll get rejected. Like, I've probably been rejected by like 150, not 150, like 100 girls at this point in my life because I've been cold approaching since I was like 15 now at this point. No, seriously, I've always done it because I used to watch I watched the videos of this Australian dude who would say like 100 ridiculous pickup lines to girls.
Oh my gosh.
But his name was Adrian, and he would, I'm gonna do my Australian accent or whatever. He would walk up to every girl before doing the pickup line and be like, hi, I'm Adrian, nice to meet you. Like, give like a handshake. And it's translated into like hey, I'm Chard, nice to meet you, you know.
Are you using Greek, non-fat Greek yogurt?
Are you also buying 0% non-fat Greek yogurt?
Damn it! I tried.
Nah, you're fine. But yeah, seriously, just like, you know, give a smile, you know, approach, say hey, and
confidence.
Yeah, I mean, but also like read the room. Like, if you're trying to chat with them and like 30 minutes in, you know, they're not, or 30 seconds in, they're like feeling a little weird. Be like, cool, you're not feeling me like that? Deuces, fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally like approach people by all means. And as far as like planning dates, don't be spontaneous.
That's lame.
It's lame. No, I'm talking like when you get a girl's number initially. Like, don't like get a girl's number and be like, hey, you want to go out tonight? I know I met you like 30 minutes ago. At least that's like what the results of my story said.
People like time to think. People like time to prepare. And if you're anything like me, people like time to plan their outfits.
Yes. I also think it just like shows that like you care if you like put some effort into planning a date as opposed to like want to go out tonight or want to do this tonight. If you're like, hey, like I'm free Friday night, you want to go get some tacos and margs.
Maybe they mentioned that they love Mexican food.
Yeah, I mean, like
that's a detail you paid attention to.
Yeah, well, that's like that goes on. Like, this is really important when you are talking to someone. As Eloise was saying earlier, do remember the details, because if she did mention something like, you know, she loves like nature or whatever,
go for a hike.
Yeah, literally say like, hey, like I know this really dope hiking spot. You want to go on Friday? Because at least she'll be like, oh, he listened. Because I mean, not even just girls. Everyone's attracted to people who listen. Yep. No one wants to be with someone who just talks your ear off.
Agreed.
Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna keep all that in there. That was good.
You should.
You're doing such a... Get over here. You're doing such a good job.
Best friend alert.
Sorry. More questions. So, the next question, and we already answered the first part of this, is how do I ask someone on a date? Does your texting game matter? I'll go first on this one.
Okay.
So we kind of already answered the how to ask someone on a date, but to kind of summarize it or maybe give a more direct answer is just ask them casually to hang out as if it's the first date, ask them to hang out as if they're your friend.
Yeah, as if it's not a date.
Yeah, like don't even put the idea that it could be a date on it, just because you may think you like them romantically, but if it's your first date, you don't actually like them like that. So it gives you both an out, and it also gives you both like a no expectations kind of like,
and less pressure.
Yeah, exactly, less pressure. No one likes pressure. So that's how I would say, like, ask, like, if I was to say ask Eloise out on a quote-unquote date, I'd be like, hey, you want to get coffee tomorrow?
I'd be like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, don't overthink it. Just, like, ask them out. But as far as just texting game matter, it does. It really, it sucks, but...
It does. I agree.
No, if you want to, it's not that you have to text everyone, but if you can be good at texting, it will improve your dating life. And I would say, you know, all this BS about like don't respond too quickly. You must wait
really
37 hours.
Games.
Yeah, it's not that. Just I would say, text when you can, and then understand the other person is busy.
Yep.
I'm just a really funny situation. So I asked this girl to get coffee, and she took 4 days to respond. I texted her. I was like, "Hey, do you want to get coffee?" I waited 4 days, and they were the most painful days of my life because I was like, "What stage? Like, why is she
There's
4 days?"
no way she hasn't seen this.
Well, but what happened was 4 days later, she said, "Yeah, let's go get coffee." And it was a really awesome coffee date. She's a really great girl. But what I'm getting at is this: just because like I'm someone who like I respond quick because I don't think it's that hard to send a text. We all have people on our phone who have texted us like 6 weeks ago who we haven't responded to yet. Try to understand that like the other person is like really, they're busy.
Yeah.
So if that's in order to like say like go about your texting game, just text them like as a friend. Once again, like I would say like obviously there are ways to flirt over text.
Totally. But it's harder because you can't hear like the emotion in the voice. Like somebody saying I'm fine over text could be like I'm fine, or it could be like I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like those are two very different things. Clearly
sure.
you're not fine with the second one.
Yeah.
But like you don't know because it's over a text.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I'll give a line that's worked for me over text a lot.
Okay.
A line that's really worked for me and all of these, like texting is just like a way of being nice. You could text someone, I would say, and this is really good. Like I was talking to this girl, her name was, and she was on vacation, and a cool text I sent her was like, "Hey, do me a favor, have a kick-ass day. Hope you're having fun on vacation." Just like
that makes them feel special.
Yeah, like just let them know that you're thinking about them, because you have to like. Only a truly toxic person would be like, "Oh, Chart's thinking about me. I'm not into him anymore." Like I would say, like texting game can help you if like you guys are talking and you know there's some attraction there.
Agreed.
You just let them know you're thinking about them. Like no one's gonna be like, "Oh, he's thinking about me." Like, fuck that guy. Unless like you're sending them like 19 text messages in a row. Double texting is fine. Triple texting is fine. It's not the number. It's kind of how you do it.
Yeah, like I'm the kind of person that texts like 3 words sends it, 3 words sends it. Like I'm not a paragraph gal. I'm a ba.
Mm-hmm.
So like if somebody saw that and we're like, oh, I got 7 text messages from Eloise, but it's not actually like I'm texting you like 7 different things.
Yeah,
it's
and I'm
just like how my brain works.
And I'm different. I'm actually a paragraph guy. Like I'll send you like 3 questions in a chat. But the thing is like, if you're being casual and like understanding the text message, like I'm talking to this girl right now and I'll send her like 3 questions and she might not respond for like 2 days, but she'll answer the questions and I'll answer her questions. And they do texting is just like, just keep it flowing. Like don't like use it for conversation and then like planning dates, and then you'll be like kind of fine. But like don't feel like, I would say avoid texting when you're talking about like your feelings.
Yeah, because again with the, you can't tell with the emotion in it.
Yeah.
FaceTime, call, talk about it in person.
What do we, oh sorry, go ahead, are you done? What do you think of not texting the person you're interested in?
We've been talking about this. It's confusing for me because I'm the kind of person that dives head first, which has gotten me into a lot of trouble before.
But do you regret any of it?
No, not at all.
Yeah, exactly.
I think in my opinion it's better to love super hard than not love at all.
That's so fucking cute.
Like shoot your shot. It's better to get
I agree.
rejected and like, what is the, you miss 100%
And the shots you don't take.
It's true.
I got like a 10% success rate with women, but it's better than a 0%
like it's
success
better
rate.
than a 0% success rate.
Remember, the guy who fires a shot at 10 girls and gets rejected by 8 of them is still better than the guy who did absolutely nothing.
Nothing. It's true.
Yeah.
So I think with texting, I've been recently trying to work on taking a step back and giving person space because not everybody develops feelings at the same rate. Not everybody's going to feel the exact same way. And with the person that I've been talking to recently, that's actually helped a lot.
Yeah.
Because he's not really big to being on his phone.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
And I'm on my phone all the time. I have a horrible addiction to my phone.
It's cool.
So instead of automatically responding the second that I get a text message, it could be overwhelming. So like giving it some time, or if I respond, understand that like if he doesn't respond for a couple of hours, like he's living his life. He's not purposefully ignoring me.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, like if you're talking to me, I work a 40-hour-a-week job. I produce music.
People are busy.
I do a podcast. Like, no offense to any girl I'm talking to currently, you have maybe 1% of my attention.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, people are busy, but that's where it's important to know yourself, because if you're someone who will geek out over text, feel free to not text them and literally just use text as a means of, like, hanging out.
You gotta know yourself and create boundaries. Boundaries are super important for yourself and for other people.
Because, like, know the situation, too, and I promise you, like, what you can maybe build like the relationship over text, but nowhere near to the degree you could build in person. So say you, whenever you're in person, things are great. Don't feel like you have to keep it going over text.
True.
You know, you can just like not talk to them for a week because you're busy, and then when you're free, you know, be like, hey, like be logical with like your date planning. You know, if you're free Thursday night, ask them to want to hang out Thursday night, but never put them before what you have to do. Like if I have if I have a business dinner Friday night and they say I can only hang Friday this week, well, it may be tempting to try to like reschedule that dinner so you can see them. Don't, because in the end, if it doesn't work out, you'll feel like an absolute chump for like putting your own life on hold for someone else.
It's true.
Yeah, it's not the whole like alpha move like I will never let a woman get in the way of like my grind. Like no, that's not the reason why. It's just like you shouldn't put anyone before yourself.
You should be the top priority for everyone always.
All right, we're on to stage 2. What to do on dates. So
don't ask me. Just kidding.
You've listened to enough Chardcasts where you've secured yourself
a date.
Now
what?
Well, here's the first question. Does where you go and what you do matter? So this is actually interesting because I feel like some people may think this applies. Do you think there is any pressure on a girl to plan the date?
There can be. I've planned dates before.
As you should. And here's what's really important for you females out there. It's a concept that Chard came up with. You ready for this? It's called counter planning. So here's how it works. So say like you're into a guy, but he invites you on a date that you might not be ready for. Say he wants to, you know, go out for drinks and you don't feel comfortable drinking around him. Or he wants to go to a movie and you don't think like going to a movie would be good for your relationship. Counter dating or counter planning is this idea that as the girl, you are allowed to be like,
no, let's go do this.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
So I would say this. Yes.
It does.
Where you go and what you do does matter. I'm gonna say obvious things aside, like you shouldn't go on a like romantic swan boat.
That's what I was gonna say.
In a pond on your first date.
That's what I was gonna say. But in reality, like what you're doing doesn't really matter as long as you guys are bonding.
Yeah. Or you should not watch. Don't go to the movies on your first date. I know unless you're
not talking.
Unless you're gonna go get like ice cream before. Don't do the ice cream after. Yeah. Don't go out to a movie. Don't invite them over for the first date.
I'd be freaked out if somebody was like, "Hey, want to come over and meet my parents?"
Yeah, but I would say there are 2 approaches to first dates. Either do something ungodly simple or do something like a little elaborate and cute. So something ungodly simple would be like coffee or going out for like drinks. That's what I would say. Not that we go out for drinks because we're underage, but like, you know, find a lounge or a place where you can sit down, have something in your hand. Doesn't have to be alcohol. It could be like a water or whatever, and just talk for like an hour and a half, and like just feel the person out. Or my favorite is mini golf and ice cream.
That's a good one.
Yeah, mini golf is really good, especially because like
sorry, keep
going. Well, because like, you know, say like, you know, I'm out with a girl named, I use Rachel as my surname last.
Emily.
Stephanie. No, I was gonna say Emily. If Emily like misses the hole, I'd be like, Emily, you suck. Shut up, Chard, you suck. Flirting, boom. Yeah, mini golf is great. Bowling.
Flirting, boom.
Flirting, like bowling is great.
Boom.
Hiking is great.
Boom.
Honestly, like I said, anything casual that you would do with a friend. You wouldn't go on a romantic swan boat pond ride with a friend.
Something cool. I actually remember this happening. Like they were sitting in the back of a car and they like watched the sunset and they had something to eat and got to know each other.
Yeah, that's
right. And it was like super simple, but also like cute and romantic in a way.
Yeah, like outdoor, like getting pizza and like doing like a picnic and watching sunset. That's great. Did I tell you about my New York Hinge date?
No.
Oh my god.
Can the podcast know about it?
Oh god.
Sometimes it's really fun connecting with people. Like sometimes it just happens naturally.
No, well now where you go, like yeah, don't do anything weird. No swan boat. No like having them over to your place.
It's just can be overwhelming on both ends.
Yeah, but Eloise, how would you go about counter planning if a guy presents a date that you don't like? To all my female viewers.
I definitely have things that I'm I think that it's important to have a list of things that you feel comfortable doing with like any and everyone. So like going for a walk. You can also be like there's ways to get out of things if you ever do feel uncomfortable. Doing something for me in an area that I'm familiar with is important. Okay.
So do you think a new place isn't a good idea for a first date?
It can be if it's with somebody who I'm not like sus about.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I think as a woman, at least, it's super important to not put yourselves in a dangerous situation. and just being hyper vigilant of that. But that's a separate conversation.
Oh, here's a good question.
Okay.
How do I get a second date?
Have a good first date.
Well, obviously. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really, and this, we're not going to go too far off on this, but let's like, if the first date was good, ask for a second date. If you don't think the other person's interested in a second date, don't bother asking, because it's only gonna happen on the first date. Like, whatever you do in between the first and second date won't change it. It's whether you had a good first date or not, in my opinion.
But I don't think that you automatically, like, when the date's over, you have to be like, let's go on another date. I think that if you wanted to, like,
I got really good advice for this.
Okay, go for it.
Don't ask about the second date on the first date.
Yeah, let it marinate.
100%. Like, don't, like, and then they'd be like, okay, so we're doing this Monday, doing this Saturday, because I fucking made that mistake once. Like, I went out on this really, really awesome date, and I made the mistake of asking her if she wanted to hang out on Saturday, and that, the date was on Monday, so even though it's like a 6 kind of day period, that's so putting pressure on her, because, like, they're not gonna say no.
Yeah,
like,
that's awkward.
And look, I'm telling, Eloise and I are talking about this, take whoever you're out with, like, take their word for it on everything they say.
Yeah.
Like, don't, like, think, like, oh, well, they could have been faking, because even if they were, that's such, like, a bad headspace to be in.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, and but yeah, definitely wait. Don't ask the person about the second date on the first date, because, as I always said, they need to let that first date kind of marinate and think about it, as you should.
Yeah.
You should go home and think about the first date and see if you actually want a second date with this person.
The things you do and didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
What would have been better, whatever that could be.
Well, yeah, because in the event it didn't go well, think, like, what did I do wrong? Because while there is the notion, like, you could have done everything right, they didn't like you like that, there are definitely some, like, things you could do that, like, are deal breakers. Like, I know, like, a really ick thing on a first date for me, and we're actually going to talk about this in a second, is kissing on the first date. I can't do it. I'm, like, 100% against it, because it puts way too many expectations on things. Second or third date kissing is fine.
I feel like that's a staple for most people.
Yeah, exactly. Or, like, I'm down to, like, talk about, like, sex on the first date, but talking about, like, the idea of us being in a relationship, like, trying to slap labels on it. No, I mean, obviously, like, a really good way of flirting. Here's some good flirting advice. And actually, wait, I'm gonna save it for the next question.
Okay.
But, like, talking about us as a couple, like, that's a big red flag for me. If the girl's like, oh my god, like, I like,
where do you want to get married?
Where do you want? Well, yeah. I mean, if it's not, like, satirical, then yeah.
Yeah.
So those are, like, my red flags. So I mean, definitely think, like, if it didn't go well, think
why?
Like, yeah, like, if you did everything right and you know yourself, be honest with yourself, because it's just you. Like, you're not gonna judge yourself. Like, be honest with yourself if you did something creepy or weird, because
everyone's got a weird side.
Yeah,
we all make mistakes.
We're all weird. Yeah. So just
we all are weird.
So
that wasn't English.
Okay, this is a question that maybe we shouldn't answer.
Why?
I'm gonna say it anyways.
Okay.
How do I build sexual tension while on a date?
Oh my god. Eye contact.
This is great because she's a girl, I'm a guy, so they're both always doing it. You go first.
I'd say eye contact.
So is this like what a guy can do, or what you as a girl should
both
do?
ways. Eye contact. If you want to go in, this is a different thing, but like I think like casually bringing up sexually related things is a great way to build sexual tension.
Not like really good piece of advice.
Not like I've had sex with 755 people, because like nobody wants to think about you having sex with.
This should be obvious. Keep your body count to yourself.
Yes.
Don't ever talk about it.
Don't ask people about it. It is none of your goddamn business.
And if you are asked, just like laugh it off, or
just
be like,
no.
Yeah, or be like, oh, I'm sure you want to know, and that's a really good. That's like the chard line. If a girl ever asks,
you want to know, because it's flirty.
I'm sure you want to know.
But you're also deflecting.
No, keep your body count to yourself. That's no one's business but your own.
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to share, but that would be weird.
Yeah, I want to go off what Eloise said as far as like bringing sexual tension, and this is really cool. That's what she said. Jokes.
It's true, actually, but not too many.
Yeah, or like just like anything that could be a sexual innuendo. Like, I was on a date once with this girl, and what's a good pseudo name? Stephanie. We were out getting tacos, and she was eating like her food, and she's like, "Oh my god, Charlie, like, this is so much I can't finish." And I go, "Stephanie, a girl has never said that to me before."
That's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. So like, I mean, like, let your like little like 12-year-old horny mind think for a second.
Go for it.
Yeah, like, make like a sexual joke, because think about that. We talk about being casual, being friends. Do you not make sexual jokes with your friends?
All the time. Like,
worst case scenario, the person you're with just thinks you're trying to be funny if you're making a joke about it.
True.
So that's why I'd say like jokes are better than just like being like, hey, let's talk about sex now.
Yeah. I also think initiating some sort of physical contact.
With consent.
True. But I mean, like, a light brush of the hand on the arm.
Yeah.
Or, like...
But guys, do not fucking touch her back as she goes
No.
through the door. That's a big no-no.
No. But, like, if you're eating dinner and they say something funny, be like, ha ha ha, oh my god.
Yeah, no, I would
like
say,
that.
Yeah, I would say, like, upper torso extremities are, like, the
Or you're
safe
like,
zone.
ah ha ha.
Yeah.
That. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh.
Yeah, you can, and, I don't know, what do you say about, like, what about hand-holding?
I feel like sometimes hand-holding can literally be more intimate than sex. But that might just be me. It's an intimate thing, especially like if your hands. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a very anxious person, but
So like, so I would say this: hand holding and the arm around the like the shoulder.
Yep.
Those are like the big move like contacts.
That's when you both are like, oh.
Well, so how do you go about doing that?
Obviously it depends the situation. You can be goofy about it. You can be like, let's count shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like,
oh,
ha ha ha.
I do the yawn. Like it's so made fun of at this point.
But like you can, like it works.
That's a good one because there will be gray areas on the date, and sometimes like to break that tension, to break that gray area, you just got to make that first move and just do it.
Yeah, I think body language also says a lot. Like, if a girl or a boy is sitting with their legs crossed in the direction of you, like people always point their body in the direction that they're interested in. Like same thing with eye contact. Like if you're not making eye contact, I'm like sitting away from you right now.
But don't worry about like the.
I'm paying attention. But stuff like that, like it's little things that you can do that hopefully they pick up on it, and little things that like you can pick up on from other people.
Yeah, but don't overthink it. Like don't think, oh, like their legs and arms are crossed and they're closing themselves off me. That's like the dumbest piece of advice ever, because a lot of people just like sit with their arms crossed.
But one more thing, when it comes to like going in for a kiss or something like that, making eye contact and like looking at people's lips, that's always a good signal of like, so there's something else going on. There's a storm a brewing. That kind of jazz.
Honestly, make eye contact. You can figure out the entire vibe from making eye contact.
Yeah, the eyes are the window to the soul.
Because like, you can. I would say just always make eye contact. I think eye contact is sexy as fuck.
It's also super important and respectful.
No, I agree. But that's great for the next question. Do you need to kiss on the first date?
No.
Yeah, I say no too.
You can.
You can.
You don't have to.
I wouldn't, but you can. And if it feels.
It just depends what you want out of it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can fuck on the first date if you really want to. It's
like, if that's what you were going on the date for,
I mean,
yeah.
It just, know what your intentions are. Like, if your intentions are to, like, go out with these people, and sex is just, like, your means to an end because you're just in that phase of your life right now.
Then go for it, homie.
Yeah, go for it. Seriously.
But I'd say if you want to build something more at another point, the longer you can wait, the better, because the tension builds, people stay interested, and they want to know more. If you just give them, I've been told this as a woman a lot my entire life, if you just give the guy what they want, which is usually sex, they're going to stop being interested in you.
And, yeah, okay, we could go into some toxic traits for a sec, but as the guy, it's a fucked up world, but women don't like a guy who's overly eager and wants too much from them, because, I mean...
You just feel like you're being used.
Yeah, you do just feel like, because no one wants to feel like they're being used, women or men alike, so I would just say, like, don't push too hard. Like, this goes back to just, like, live your best life and understand, here's my favorite quote ever, and I came up with it. Dating or a girlfriend or a boyfriend, it's like a protein shake. It's only I know, pretty bro-y.
I'm ready.
It's only a supplement to an already awesome life and, like, self-concept.
I love it. I like it.
Yeah, good. I mean, yeah, so, I mean, just keep
it's just a bonus.
Yeah, like, keep that in mind, and, like, if you feel like, it's back to the texting thing. If your girl is taking, or the girl or guy you're talking to is taking 17 hours to respond, don't freak out. Because regardless, even if you do get rejected, life will go on, and that's why Eloise and I stressed from the beginning, like, the amount of dates you get, your confidence should not be contingent on that. Because if your confidence is contingent on that, then there's something about you that you need to figure out first.
What he said.
All right, the talking phase. Question 1 is, what is the talking phase?
It's this confusing area.
Yeah.
But it can also be really fun. We're like...
Oh, I think it's so fun. I love it.
It's just frustrating when you're there for 6 months with the same person. So, the talking stage is like when you would do the texting and being like, hope you have fun today at ABCD.
Yeah.
Because then, like, it's more of an intimate level of, like, past where you guys know that you're not just friends. you're not like just going out for coffee for friend purposes, but you're not dating, and there isn't the pressure of dating or the responsibility of dating. Because dating somebody, like being a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a significant other, like, it's not just about you anymore. You're taking on like somebody else's emotions and all that stuff. So it's like dating, but without all the seriousness, which can be super fun.
Yeah, I would say like the way I would define the talking stage is like, you know that there is attraction there. You know you're into each other. You just don't know where it's gonna go, and you have not communicated where it's gonna go.
Yep.
So, I would say, is it so? I guess the next question is not what I'm. Okay, so I would say if you want to get out of the talking phase, there's a very, very quick way to get out. Say what you want. I'm not saying it'll get you what you want.
That's true.
But that is like if you
everyone's aware.
Because the talking phase is stressful, and if the talking phase is reaching a point to where like it's really interfering with your life, like it's past protein shake levels of being a supplement, if it's like
on heroin levels.
Yeah. If it's just like on a level to where like it's occupying your headspace when it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I would say like call the person, tell them what you want, and if they're like I don't want that and it's over, it sucks, but like at least it's not like occupying your head anymore.
It's true. It's not wasting your time.
Yeah, and the talking phase, that's literally what it is. It's just like you both are attracted, but you don't know what you want. Like you could be like full on like fucking making out, like watching movies together, going on dates, and still be in the talking phase. Saying that in general.
That's okay though.
But no, because
maybe.
Because then you have like relationships where they haven't like gone out on dates or like had sex or anything, but they're healthy. It's not that the talking phase isn't healthy. No, it's not. The talking phase is not healthy. But they're like
no, but it's important to every relationship.
Yeah, you gotta communicate because like
everyone has to go through the talking phase.
Yeah, because if you make I was talking to a girl. This podcast makes it sound like I talk to so many girls.
That's what we're telling them to do.
I do. I talk to girls. I talk to a couple girls. I'm gonna fucking say it. I actually, with all the girls I'm talking to, I skip the talking phase altogether.
How do you do that?
Well,
tell us more.
The way I would say skip the talking phase altogether, and I think this is the biggest mistake everyone makes right away, is not making their intentions clear like right away.
Okay.
So my intentions normally as like a default is one of two things. Either I just see you as a friend, I don't want nothing more, or I'm willing to get to know you to where we could evolve into a relationship, but I still want to be friends for now.
Okay.
And those are my two ways of kind of like avoiding the talking phase because...
Oh, I understand.
Because they'll never sit there like guessing what your intentions are because you've made it clear that like you don't have expectations of being more than friends. So you're leaving the ball in their court. They can leave or stay however long they would like. And that's how I skip the talking phase because I'm not sitting here like, oh, I like them, but I don't want to tell them I like them.
Yep.
Because the talking phase, you're only in it because you're afraid to speak your intentions.
It's true.
Because like if you're in like a situation with someone, all it takes is for you to be like, hey, I like you, and that's up to them to decide where you guys go next.
That's a conversation.
Yeah, and I know it's tough, and I know like we don't want to like because the talking phase can be exciting sometimes.
Yeah.
But the way I just skip it by like making my intentions kind of clear.
Which is
from
very
the start.
healthy.
Yeah, I mean it is because like I don't care about rejection. Then this is not me saying like a week into knowing someone you have to declare like I like you, I don't like you. Like that's why I say like be friends with someone, no expectations. But once you feel something, make your intentions
clear.
Known. Yeah, and you don't have to like say anything, but like make an obvious flirt.
Yeah.
Like go up to like the girl you're talking to and be like you're beautiful. Like I really like you. Like I enjoy hanging out with you. I'd say yeah, skip the talking phase by just being upfront with your intentions. But make sure you know what your intentions are. Like
yeah, and if you're gonna go into the talking phase, by all means do so. It can be fun. Like it's an important part of your life that you should explore.
Mm-hmm.
But don't allow yourself to get stuck there.
Yeah.
Because then it sucks.
And like I said, the big no-no is if it starts occupying more headspace than it should, definitely get out of it. Because like if you're like say like studying for a test
and all you're doing is thinking about
that person,
they're not responding to me.
Yeah, then like that's when you're in an unhealthy version of the talking phase.
Yep.
So, how do you communicate your needs and expectations without having an intense conversation? Because that is true. We have been talking with the assumption that like you can just be like, hey, I need to talk to you. Here are my intentions and what I want. Is there a way to do that?
I mean, like that. I think you just did it.
Well, no. Like, can you communicate those things without having that intense conversation?
Totally. It's gonna have to be more thought out.
Mm.
And personally, I'm at the point in my life where like, it's not necessarily game playing, but I would just rather. I'd rather just put it out there and like, life's too short to like dwell, in my opinion. But you can like, instead of being like, let's sit down and have a conversation about ABC, like at dinner, be like, like if you wanted to talk about, I'll give you an example.
Like, say, like, you're talking to someone and your expectations are to be, like, casual, like, friends, like, who are dating, but you also do want to have, like, sex, like, every once in a while, and you don't want to feel like you have to, like, make sex a big deal of the relationship, you just want to do it. Like, how would you communicate that without, like, having to sit down and, like, saying that?
Yeah, I think that you can, like, casually bring up instances where, like, you can ask their opinion. Like, you can be like, my friend, la 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 la, how crazy is that? And that's a way without, like, making it yourself. Like, again, that's kind of just beating around the bush. Which is fine. But I feel like that's just kind of a waste of time.
Yeah, here, I'm gonna put the phone down because I've been thinking about this question.
Okay, go.
So, step one to this is actually knowing what you want out of the situation first. Because
that's important.
You can't go around trying to communicate things
without knowing
what you actually want. So, hypothetical, I'm talking to Stephanie. I do want to be. I
love this chick named Stephanie that we created.
I'm gonna fucking meet a girl named Stephanie.
and then you're gonna be like, Eloise,
it's the one.
She's real.
Yeah, like Eloise, she's real. I manifested her. God, that'd be a superpower. But the way to like communicate, and this is the caveat that you should directly communicate if you feel comfortable doing that, and if you don't feel comfortable doing that, get comfortable doing that, because the reason why we want to beat around the bush is because we're desperate and we think if we mess up with this person, there's gonna be no one else. But there are other people, so
there's so many people.
Yeah, just be honest and communicate. But if you want to choose to like beat around the bush, Eloise's example of like bringing up hypotheticals,
it's a good way of.
It's a good way. I mean, it's pretty freaking obvious what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like you may as well just.
Yeah, or like for what I would do is like say you have the expectation or desire to be romantic with someone, or you're talking about dates earlier, take them on that swan boat trip. Not that per se, but say you and this person, like, you're having sex, and, you know, you go out for drinks a couple times, like, a week. Like, your thing is, like, you go out for drinks, and then
level it up.
Yeah, and then you hook up afterwards. If you want to be romantic with this person, without telling them that you want to be romantic, go on a romantic date with them and just see how the situation develops. So instead of going out for drinks and, like, going back to your place afterwards, go out and, you know, go for a sunset, drive on a mountain, and, you know,
then picnic.
Hunt stars. Or have them over to your house to, like, bake cookies and listen to music. So, like, if you want to say, like, take something casual and make it more serious without sitting down and being like, I want something more serious.
Let's be serious.
Yeah, role play a little bit. Or, on the flip side, if you feel like someone's getting too serious with you and you don't like that, try putting them in a casual situation and seeing how that goes.
What is it called? Counter
planning?
Counter planning.
Yeah, counter planning. So,
say... You can go both ways.
Well, yeah, so say, like, I really like... Alicia. Say I really like Alicia, but Alicia and I go out for drinks once a week, and then occasionally after drinks we'll go and hook up sometimes. And we like, you know, text on and off, like we're in like a little talking phase right now. Instead of, you know, going out for drinks and, you know, hooking up, I'll say like, hey, do you want to go out to, you know, sushi at this restaurant I like to go to? Then you sit down and instead of like, you know, and also think about like, what do you talk about on your dates? So if you say like, talk about like, you know, your week, or talk about like your sexual desires, talk about her annoying coworker or whatever on your like these casual dates. Next time you go out, maybe talk about her hopes and dreams, talk about what she wants in her family. Yeah, talk about stuff like that she might want in the future.
A deeper level.
So yeah, I guess like sum this all up in post-production, I'll make this look a lot cleaner. Love post-production. That was cool. We're gonna keep that in there.
That was cool.
You want to communicate your needs and expectations without having a full-on like conversation. Role play, as in if you normally go out for drinks and have sex afterwards, go out on something more romantic. It'll give them the idea that you want something more, and it'll also let them be like, okay, Chard wants something more. Now he's putting me in a situation that something more would look like. How do I feel in this situation?
Yeah, and a lot of times people, hopefully, the hope is that they're going to communicate. So if they liked it, and they like respond to going out on that date being like, oh my god, I had so much fun tonight, I can't wait to do it again. Yeah. Then you're like, green light.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I would say, like, and this is, like, my best piece of dating advice. This is how you survive dating. Take everything at surface level.
Yeah.
Don't think into things. Like, if I went out with Sydney, and Sydney, like...
It's a good one.
Yeah, right? I didn't have to think too hard about that one, too. If I went out with Sydney, and she hugged me, called me cute, did a bunch of things that a platonic friend wouldn't do, maybe she's just flirty like that, but it's fair for you to assume that Sydney might like you. So you can start acting accordingly. And it's the same with this. If you go out on this more romantic date with someone and, you know, you bring it up like, hey, you want to go do another romantic date, and they agree and they have fun again, then you'll know, like, okay, wait, maybe they want this too.
Eventually, you're going to have that intense conversation.
Yeah, or at least ask them to be your girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah, you can't just go about life
Yeah,
like that.
but yeah, no, if you're afraid to, like, say, like, I want something more romantic, role
Try
play.
it out.
Yeah, try it out. Like, just try, like, upping your game and actually doing something romantic.
It's a good piece of advice.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, what can I say, man? Chardcast.
Thanks, Chard.
Yeah, no problem, Eloise. Oh, God, Eloise.
I have a good one for this.
You do already know what question I'm asking?
Yeah.
When do I know that's time to give up and move on?
Question. I like the question that is, what should I do if me and somebody are interested in each other but both want different things?
Oh, you want to do that one instead?
We can do both of them.
I mean, okay, so when do I know it's time to give up and move on? It's like we were talking about earlier. If the situation is impeding on your life and, like, you doing what you want, move on, because this person, eventually, ideally, you want them to be in your corner and support you, not bring you down. So that's when I would say it's time to, like, give up and move on.
Damn.
But don't listen to your friends. If your friends are telling you to give up and move on, your friends don't know what you're feeling.
You just gotta make your own call.
Yeah, make your own calls. Do what makes you feel right, because you'll never regret being yourself if it doesn't work out, but you will regret it not working out because you did something that wasn't in line with your self-concept.
And then you'll always be thinking, well, what if I was just myself?
Yeah. I mean, but then, like, if you were yourself and got rejected, you could think to yourself, well, what if I was just someone else?
Well,
but
you should never be somebody else.
Exactly.
What was I gonna say? Sometimes it just, like, fizzles out.
Yeah, it does.
And you don't, I get, like, not wanting to accept it and wanting something to be the way that it used to be. And sometimes things just change, feelings change, people change.
I'll give a situation, actually. Over the winter break, I was hooking up with this girl, and it was awesome. Like, we'd go out on dates, we'd hook up, whatever, and it was great. And then one week, she just literally started, like, ghosting me for whatever reason. And I literally had to sit there and accept, like, I didn't do anything. She just wasn't feeling it anymore. And it stinks because I was still feeling it, but, like, no, you just gotta accept it because you can't do anything.
I mean, it's not fun.
And
there's no way to make it not painful.
But you can only control your response. You can't control what happens to you. So you can choose to get down to the dumps or just choose to move on or work on yourself.
Allow yourself to feel your feelings, but don't
Yes.
allow your feelings to take over you.
Okay, what should I do if me and someone are interested in each other, but we both want different things?
Cry about it.
Shut up. I mean,
force them into the thing that you want.
I talked about it in Chardcast episode 1, and I was talking about it sooner. If you want different things, like, say, like, Eloise wants a relationship and Gary wants to just hook up casually, it's just not meant to be.
You can't force somebody into doing something.
You can't force someone to doing something.
Even though I just joked about it, you can't actually do that.
Yeah, no, you can't force someone into doing something you don't want. And it stinks when, like, you see yourself, like, wanting to do something with this person and, like, you think it could be awesome and if they could just agree with you, if they could just see eye to eye with you, but you can't make them see eye to eye to you. Because you gotta remember, the way you were in a situation, too, where someone wanted to make you do something and you didn't want to do it. Same concept here.
Oh. I think that also openly communicating about what you want and what they want. And if they're different things, like somebody just wants to hook up and somebody wants a relationship, well, do you never want a girlfriend?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it because of me? Or is it because of the circumstances of the situation?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're in the mindset of, like, I don't want to date right now,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just an eager beaver, that's not to say that, like, you can't just, like, give them time.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're like, I'm not ready for a significant other at this point in time, don't beat a dead horse.
Yeah. And I have 2 things I want to say on that. One, like, understand that it might just not be meant to be with you because, like, they might not want a relationship with you, but then they'll find someone new and be in a relationship with them. So if that happens to where, like, you end things because they didn't want to be with you, but there was someone else, just understand that, like, people make people feel different ways, so you can't really control it.
And you're not a bad person.
You're not a bad person.
And there is somebody out there for you.
There is someone out there for you. Or maybe there isn't, and you'll die alone.
Well, technically, we all do.
We all...
Like my dad said, you come into this world alone, and you leave this world alone.
Or like Nietzsche said, the biggest mistake a human could ever make is being born. God, that's so messed up. I had another...
Full circle!
Yeah, wait, no, we have one more question. But also, like, I had another really good answer to this one, so I gotta look at this for a second. Oh! I remember what I was gonna say.
Wasn't that helpful?
No.
Go before you forget.
Yeah, so basically it's like, and I said this in Chardcast episode 1, and I'm going to say it again. Right person, wrong time is real.
So real!
So if you and someone, like, realize that, like, right now you want different things and it can't work now, end it cleanly. don't be toxic. Don't do anything stupid because, you know,
the right time might come.
Yeah, say Eloise and Malcolm. Say Eloise and Malcolm both want different things at the moment. You know, don't do like, you know, Malcolm, don't say something so mean to Eloise that like she can't ever forgive you. Just say like, hey, we want different things right now. If we come back together later in life, great. If not, great. But don't, you know, do something toxic that the other person can't forgive you for. Because, you know, and I said this before, every guy does this. The first time they break up with their girlfriend, they try to get the girlfriend to break up with them. Yeah, so don't be toxic. Be nice when you break up with someone.
Yeah, I've actually been in a situation where it's like right place, wrong time. Right person, wrong time.
Yeah.
So what Chard said about being respectful, mature about the situation, that's the best thing that you can do.
Final question. How do I get over a rejection or a failed talking phase with someone I can't get out of my head?
It's hard.
It is hard.
Heartbreak sucks.
But since I've been throwing out practical advice, I'll say it. Like, get them out of your head. Like, it sounds like really toxic, but it's actually not. Like, hide their Instagram and Snapchat stories. Block their number.
Oh, that's
block
not
their
toxic
Snapchat,
at
block
all.
their, like, get them out of your head. And then, obviously, like, come back to it. And you don't have to proclaim, like, you don't have to be like, hey, insert girl's name.
Emma.
Emma. Yeah, hey, Emma. Like, I'm going to block you on everything. Don't talk to me until I'm ready.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. And if they get annoyed at you for doing it, like, sucks to suck, but you gotta do it for yourself because, like, time heals everything, and you gotta realize, like, no one person actually is that important to you. And but when you're in a talking phase, you this one person is ruling your
like that.
Yeah, they're ruling your mental state, they're ruling your world. So by taking that time away from them and, like, interacting with other people, you realize, oh, they're just one person like everyone else. And then, like, once you think you got there, then you can say, okay, does this person still actually add to my life? And if the answer is yes, you unblock them on stuff and be like, hey, like,
you take
my time, ready to talk.
Yeah, my therapist actually, the first breakup that I ever went through, my therapist made me do this. She was like, okay, just picture that there are shelves in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Take them off of the shelf.
Yeah.
Reorganize.
Mm-hmm.
Dust some things off, relabel.
You're gonna have to credit your therapist.
And if there's still space on the shelf for them, then you can put them back up there in a new position.
Yeah, just don't talk to them about it because even a non-manipulative person will get potentially a little manipulative if they still want you in life. Because we've all been in that situation where we try to tell someone that we can't be with them, and they've been like, "Oh, why? Like nothing went wrong." I mean, even if they're not trying to be manipulative, yeah. So I would say like don't even bother telling them. Just like take your space.
Yeah, and if you're in the situation where somebody has blocked you or something like that, try your best to just not take it personally, which is easier said than done because obviously it's a personal thing, but it's less about like, I fucking hate you, you're a bad person. It's more, I need to do this for me.
I would honestly say you should do it too. Like
everyone should do it.
Like if someone does the whole like blocks you and everything because they need space,
try it.
Yeah, you should do it back, like not back to them to be toxic, but like in your own head, like yeah, let me get this person out of my mind too. So when they come back to me, I'm also ready.
Yep.
Nice.
And I'd also say, like we said before, don't ever bottle your emotions or push them down. The only way to get through something is through it. Not up, around, over, down.
Yeah.
All that jazz. Like, allow yourself to feel the emotions, because getting rejected sucks. Yeah, it's not fun. Go through it, not around it. Allow yourself to feel it.
Yeah.
Because, like, also, what did you say? Eventually it won't phase you as much. Like, if you're rejected so many times. What is it called?
Oh, exposure therapy.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, you realize that, like, you know, no one person has any control over you. So, I mean, you're fine once you get out there in the real world. It's just, like, in the moment, it might seem like a lot.
Yeah, and it's okay if it is a lot at that moment in time.
I mean, honestly, to go off what you were saying, to wrap this up in a bow as far as, like, going through things, I think that's kind of the thing Eloise and I have been hearkening back to this entire episode. Just, like, when in doubt, just be direct. Because the worst that can happen is, like, they're not feeling what you're feeling. And cool, like, I mean, honestly, the reason why I think you should be pretty upfront about things is, like, even though that might lead to more rejection, not that, like, a failed talking phase isn't the exact same thing as a rejection, it's just longer. You're just screening people at that point. Like, if you just are upfront, because if they don't mess with you the way you want to mess with them, there's no hard feelings. You're just saving yourself time and, like, being efficient. Because we've all had someone be into us before. When someone is into us, it doesn't take much stress. If you know, the feelings are mutual.
Yeah.
Like, loving is easy, as Rex Orange County would say.
It's true. Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, I'm gonna cut that part out.
Why?
I don't know.
Thanks for having me. I had fun. If any of you guys have any other questions, you should ask him, and you're more than welcome to also ask me from the female perspective.
I'll give her, I'll try to get her on every episode too.
That'd be fun.
It would be.